We is up. We is up. I guess on everything. Well,
There
it's
it is.
same
Yay.
time. How about them apples?
I like apples.
Yes, me too. Well. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to another evening of the virtual Cantina watch along. We are in the midst of Star Wars month 2023, which is absolutely fantastic. I hope you had a fantastic Star Wars day, or as the rest of us Star Wars fans call it, Thursday, because every day is Star Wars Day. It's not Frontier Day.
This
Black
is the
Spire
May.
Day.
This
Yes.
is the May.
This is the May, absolutely, or 6th of the May. I don't know. I saw that as well. But I'm Spencer. I'm one of your hosts for the evening. And manning the comm tonight is Dave. How are you, sir?
Good evening.
And Dave did shoot first.
Absolutely.
Oh, Dave got shot.
Yep. And over to my immediate right, I think, is
Left on the screen.
Dr. Jeff Edison. Hey, how are you, Jeff?
Good.
Well, we're very, very
He
excited.
doesn't like us.
You know,
Watching on 12 systems. All right.
But anyway, we are going to be watching a little indie movie called Star Wars tonight. But the special edition, which is actually called A New Hope. But for you non-millennials, it's called Star Wars.
But it said on the screen and no other subtitles before the crawl. So
yeah.
Well, and you're only like partially joking. It really kind of was a little indie movie, and if it hadn't gone the way that it did, it would have stayed that way. But
well, that's why I kind of say it like that, because it's kind of like a joke at this point. That it's not just a movie, an indie movie at this point. Obviously, it's a cult classic. We all know this. This is what dragged us in, for the most part, into the whole fandom, into the love of what we do here. And what we do here has expanded quite a bit. One thing I'm very, very proud about right now is the fact that, well, I guess we don't have 3 people in the room, one Jeff. Or Dave, is that now legally, officially, and by all counts,
religiously,
we are now officially, legally, the Virtual Cantina Network. So it's a pretty big deal for us. We are powered by the Virtual Cantina Network, as you can see down there. But what does that mean for the network as a whole, Dave, the fact that we are now officially, meaning legally, the Virtual Cantina Network?
Well, that means that we need to get more of our, nearly 60,000 members over and subscribed, because then you don't have to wait and you don't have to deal with the choppy Facebook feed and stuff. Over on YouTube, always much smoother. You will get notifications, push notifications when everything comes on, whether we're live or whether we drop pre-recorded content, which we do for a number of our shows. Is you will get notified and you will see it there first. So that's the kind of thing that we got to do is to see all the more content and stuff that doesn't always make it to the page we've got on YouTube, as well as years of backlog that you might have missed if you're a recent joiner. If you joined during the huge Star Wars Celebration Europe push, when we grew by leaps and bounds, you may not have seen some of our speaker series with all sorts of Star Wars creators that we did in years past. So you want to be over on the YouTube.
It's easy for those posts to get buried.
Absolutely.
And especially during our last Mandalorian watch along, or all of our Mandalorian watch alongs, but we've had some, like this last season, had some incredible guests. Going back to, first and foremost, Hal Hegel, ILM legend. We've had Chris Bartlett on a number of times. We've had Lonnie Shu. we've had Emily Swallow coming in as a surprise a couple of times with Tate Fletcher, Marty Matillis.
Oh yes, that was so cool.
Which was a very fun one, which led to him having his first signing ever at Boonta Eve in London, which
historic.
Was great. And
creating history.
And he just did his first con last weekend at Contopolis, Pennsylvania, which he had a great time with Chris Bartlett and a whole bunch of other Lauren Mary Kim and a few other Star Wars actors that were there, which is fantastic. So you never know who's going to pop in, as part of us, because our family is expanding and includes your favorites from Star Wars. But right now we're in the midst of about to watch New Hope tonight, which is very exciting. And obviously, that's going to lead to Empire next week. But also going to the 25th of this month, we're going to be watching Return of the Jedi on the actual 40th anniversary date, which is pretty exciting about that.
That's pretty snaz.
But yeah, Star Wars is growing leaps and bounds. We all know that we're in the midst of the Filoniverse, which is a renaissance of Star Wars, if you will. But one of the things that helped push it, besides the Clone Wars, was a little old show called Rebels, which actually our love for Rebels and our friends' love of Rebels led to our show that's celebrating 1 year on the virtual Cantina network is Rebels Revisited. And we've had Philip Anthony Rodriguez, who's the fifth brother, which was a fantastic interview with them, as well as Taylor Gray, Ezra Bridger, the animated Ezra Bridger. But some people could argue that this guest that Rebels Revisited has this week is the heart and soul of Rebels. Jeff, why don't you take us a little talk about that?
Well, like you said, the original Ezra Bridger for Taylor. This will be the originator of the character of what would be ultimately General Syndulla, correct? No? Hera Syndulla, the voice of Hera Syndulla, Vanessa Marshall will be the guest on Monday with our normal Ashley and Mark, and they'll be joined by Jamie. So it'll be a full house, and they're gonna, have a great time talking to Vanessa about her role as Hera, originating the character that now will be passed on theoretically to Obi-Wan's wife. I forgot her name.
Mary Elizabeth Winstead.
That's her. Anyways, so yeah, it'll be a very cool show. So check it out. And if you happen to miss the live show, go on over to YouTube, sign up, and if you don't have a YouTube account, but subscribe, and you'll get notified next time it drops, and you can watch the show there after the fact.
Well, and it's highly timely that she's going to be on the day after Mother's Day. It's
oh yes, she is the mother
from Rebels right there, and
mother of the ghost, as it were.
If you're thinking about that too, and you need a little primer, if you're not exactly sure who she is, Sunday on the Unifying Force right here on the YouTube channel, we are re-airing last year's Mother's Day special, where we get in depth and we talk about all the mother figures in Star Wars, including Hera Syndulla.
Which is absolutely fantastic. I'm very excited about that. I'm very excited about everything that's happening on our page. Like Dave mentioned, we're close to 60,000 members. We'll be 59 probably by tomorrow, I imagine. And if we're in the current pace that we're at, we'll probably be close to 60, if not at 60, in the next week or two, which is incredible, considering the fact that a month ago, day one of Celebration Europe, we hit 50,000.
It was almost 5 weeks ago, but yes.
So 10,000 in 5 weeks.
Mm-hmm. That's quite a bit. It's a good average.
But we love doing this for you guys.
We're not even doing like stupid YouTube tricks like, Mr. Beast.
I know. But it's a labor of love. We love do what we do. Everybody who is involved in what we do wouldn't do it if we didn't love the community and love Star Wars and feel that we were not doing something special and impactful for the community. So we're doing that. We are happy to do this for you all, and lot of big things, coming out with Star Wars this past couple of days. I mean, first and foremost, Andor winning the Peabody Award, which is pretty awesome for them. So congratulations to them for that.
Did they win the Sherman Award too? Sorry.
It'd be the Mr. Peabody Award. That was the case.
Sorry. Okay. For all of you millennials that didn't
They're like,
get
what?
Wow.
Google.
You aged us.
What are you talking about?
It's great.
You guys are a million.
But that was fantastic. And Janelle White, who is also known as Steve Urkel, announced that he is going to be part of Skeleton Crew, which is going to be quite interesting. I think they're going through I don't know how I feel about all this, especially considering the fact that we just got off of Mandalorian that had maybe, in my opinion, one too many cameos from.
But one that was amazing.
Yeah, there was a good.
Okay,
really
that
good
one was
and
great.
then some-
But I'm talking about the fact that we had.
There was at least 3 questionable ones.
At least 3 questionable cameos in this past show.
Or maybe
Not-
4. even.
Not maybe 4. That were kind of like, I don't know, in my personal opinion, it took me
Done
out
without.
of the action a little bit.
Yeah, pulled
Little bit.
out a little bit.
I mean, I'm all for it. Don't get me wrong, but I mean, like for example, so I went to see Guardians of the Galaxy 3 this weekend, which, by the way, bring tissues. That's the first thing I'll say to you. And stay in your GD seats.
Who doesn't know
long-
that at this point?
Oh my God!
It's
half
so
the
weird.
theater
It's
left.
like
Not only
yeah.
did like a quarter of the theater empty up at the credits, then half the theater at the mid credit, and I'm like,
I mean, I went to
I always
watch
find it-
Return of the Jedi in theaters, and I almost wanted to stay for.
yeah. Well, I stayed just. To
I
see
did stay
Phantom
We
in the-
stayed.
to like
Well,
see
we
all
had
of
our-
our friends
in
in
the
the
credits.
credits, but
well, we had our meetup. We stayed.
yeah,
The credits were done, and that's when we went out afterwards. But it's so. But in Guardians 3, Pete Davidson is under a mask. Like, you don't know it's Pete Davidson.
Mhm.
Right.
Who's playing a character. They finally gave Nathan Fillion a face character in this one because he
Right.
did voices in the other 2. And it's like, I get bringing in friends and whatnot, and James Gunn and J.J. Abrams are notorious for, and Ryan Johnson are notorious for bringing in their friends into
Cast of
various
characters.
properties, just as a gag.
Yeah.
And
well,
it-
Jaleel was talking about how many hours he sat in the makeup chair, so I'm hoping it's not like hit you over the head. Here's Space Urkel.
It looked
No,
like this,
it-
maybe.
You're right. It's gonna be. I'm hoping it's something.
that's gonna be a T-shirt on TeePublic, right?
Space Circle.
and we're writing down. And we're
Bet you
writing.
could find it already.
Did I do that?
There you go.
But it's gonna be very interesting to see. But I'm very excited because now it looks like we're gonna have a couple more programs. By the end of live action by the end of the year. Loving Vision season 2 way more than season 1. I thought it was a great. I don't know if any of you guys have watched any of it, but
Watch 3.
But the Sith was fantastic.
The first 3. That's one of the first 3.
Yeah.
They're very, Visions is its own thing for sure. It's not your standard Star Wars fare. It's not The Mandalorian. It's not this great movie that we're going to watch tonight.
Yeah. Well, there's so much Star Wars
It's got
content
elements
right
of
now
it.
to watch and catch up on. I saw my first episode of Young Jedi show.
Yeah, I could not get in. I sat through the first episode,
Yeah.
but it was like, that's it. I may revisit it if
I
I
was
have
watching
a
it
3-year-old
with
sitting next to
children.
me or something.
So well, yes, I was watching it with children, so it
Okay.
was a better
There you go.
experience. I think
Right, I would imagine.
like because I thought about how painful it would be if we decided to do a watch along in
Oh,
this
God.
format for it.
Okay.
But
We still have to
watching
No,
watch
thank
Bad.
you. I'll
We
be
still have
sick
to watch
that night.
Bad Batch season 2. I mean,
No.
yeah, we'll
Well, that's
catch up on that when we catch
a little
up
bit
on
better.
but it's
There's
just like
higher stakes for sure, I think.
so much content out there right now, and it's great. And the information that we got coming out of Celebration was incredible. And speaking of Celebration, as we all know, in 2025 we are heading. Well, Celebration is heading to Japan. I'll preface that. However, you don't have to wait till 2025 to spend time with your virtual Cantina family. We will be at several cons coming up, including at the end of this month, ICCC. Dave, I mean, I know that Freddie dropped. He's still got a great lineup, even without Freddie Prinze Jr.
Oh, absolutely. It completely is. Still, if you want to go, I've got on order. I think it's over there waiting for maybe an unboxing video. The season 4 Rebels poster that has the entire family unit, and you've got Thrawn and the big bads in the background, and you can still get that entire thing done with the exception of, well, now Freddie, Chopper, Dave Filoni, and Thrawn. So you can get everybody else on that poster done. And ICCC has like all sorts of other crazy stuff going on. It's a heavy Jedi presence. The Emperor himself is going to be there.
April's going to be there.
Loaded up.
Oh, we get Simon Williamson on that.
Absolutely. Max Rebo. We've got
Invincible Max Rebo.
The Invincible Max Rebo.
So that's gonna be a shirt. That's gonna be a shirt. Somehow Max Rebo returns.
Somehow Max Rebo
returns.
But there are others. Timmy Taylor is gonna be there. What's the Gamorrean guard? I can't think of his name.
Stephen Constantino.
Yes, Stephen Constantino is going to be there. Tons of other people, in addition to a lot of the original Kenner like designers and photographers and the people that came up with the toys that made us.
Not to be a plug for a show on Netflix that we watched at one particular time.
Absolutely, that is a good show. I love that.
No, but the guys, Dave and Skip and Catherine are working on trying to put something together for a meetup while we're there, because a lot of our members are going to be there, including our good friend Flatmark.
Well, and we would love to see not just like people that we have seen and met in real life before. I'm talking about if you've just watched the show once, if you're just watching this show now, come hang out, see us, meet us.
We don't bite. And then we have San Diego Comic-Con, which I do know that
Mark was talking about.
Mark was talking about doing the meetup there.
Other Mark.
Oh, not yet.
And
not
also,
that flat Mark. 3-dimensional Mark.
3-dimensional Mark.
Von Olin.
Thrawn Van Olin. Yes.
Thrawn.
And then
Mark Thrawn Olin.
Yes. And
anyway.
And then we're also planning, obviously, at Fan Expo Boston this year, which has an incredible Star Wars presence, as always, and Rhode Island Comic Con, where we have probably our biggest meetup outside of Bunta every single year, which is fantastic. But
and there may be more before that in times, even because definitely there will be a number of us at GalaxyCon Raleigh in late July. And I might be kind of trying to get to Fanboy Knoxville too. I know.
I'm going to be at Comic-Con Revolution in Ontario, California in 2 weeks, a week and a half, week and a few days, weekend after next. So if anybody wants to meet up for that, I might put up a little meetup event on the page, but we'll be in Mandalorian armor for that for at least 1 day, maybe 2.
But we're also very deep into the planning of the second annual virtual Cantina family vacation, which is going to be going back to Cali. Yep. I don't think so. No. But it's gonna be a great trip. We have a lot of things planned. We have a lot of things that people are talking to about this, but it's gonna be if we don't have a map with the Indiana Jones theme playing, or the family truckster, from the video game version from the first vacation. Bloop, 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 bloop. And then Pac-Man goes. But no, it's gonna be a fantastic time, and every time that when we're together as a family, whether it be virtually or in person. It's going to be an experience, and shenanigans abound, which we are known for. But we're very excited about that. Don't forget, we are also going to be watching A New Hope tonight, so don't want to talk too much about.
Yeah, make sure you got that queued up.
But it's exciting, and it's exciting to see where we're going and what we're doing. And we got things that we're planning. Like, we have things on our to-do list past Celebration 25 already. So, we're leaps and bounds, from that group that was trying to keep you all sane from COVID to what we're saying.
I have designed my first swag already for Celebration 25.
Ooh.
I know.
Oh no.
Very nice, very nice. And I have to give you kudos, because as soon as I saw Mark's swag for ICCC, I'm like, that's a Dave O'Neill special. he was like, you can tell him, like, come on, I can tell Dave's art. But it was pretty nice to see, that's going on there. And it's nice to see, speaking of our artwork and our swag, and talk about Dave, our virtual Cantina baseball jerseys are the top seller of our big shirts, meaning racers, as well as the hockey jerseys from the jump. We have been selling quite a bit, and people are buying the dual pack of the dark side and light side.
Well, you gotta be dark side and light. There's a little bit dark side, a little bit light side.
So I will say, some people are changing their names and their numbers for each version of the shirt.
Yeah, of course.
Oh, absolutely.
They would apply, thusly to each shirt differently.
Right. But some people are actually want to go with the stock theme of Skywalker 77 and Palpatine.
Oh, wow.
Because
the ample version, that's kind of cool.
Completely. I mean, well, that's kind of the thing, and that was the theme that I kind of had in mind is Anakin and Vader.
Why not? Well, you wrote Palpatine.
Well, I did put Palpatine on that, but I was like, I have to keep some secrets. That's the one I was going to order for myself.
Oh, okay. So no one else can get that. Oh, right. Okay, cool.
A variation.
So you didn't see that. But consider getting, ordering your jerseys. We're taking orders until the end of June, and our plan is to have them in time for Fan Expo Boston, which is the first weekend of August. So we'll have them probably begin in August, I would imagine, all things being considered. But buy them, order them. Like I said, it's the number one seller right now from the jump. And
which one is selling better? Or is it
that's
even
a good
everybody's
question.
buying
Or is it Jedi?
Honestly, I think it's Dark Side.
That is not surprising, knowing many of our
cookies.
Yeah, I believe it. I believe it's Dark Side, but like I said, a lot of people. Here's the thing: is that so we charged $120 for our hockey jerseys, which were fantastic, and people were like, "Oh my god!" They saw them because they are awesome,
super hot. They're like real hockey jerseys.
But I will say that
full sweater.
People are wanting, like, we can't preface this enough, and I can't say this enough, but people don't listen. Is every time we do something, it's 100 times better than the version that you see in a graphic. And people get FOMO on the regular. I mean, Jeff, you had them hanging up at a con that you were vending at, and people are trying to buy them from you.
If I was selling those shirts, the first 3 that we did, I would have sold probably a dozen of each kind.
Okay.
Yeah, dark by a lot.
No.
I'm just going to say this now so it's on tape and camera. Is Jeff just said something when I mentioned hockey jersey that gave me an idea. Virtual Cantina, ugly Christmas sweater.
Or Hanukkah sweater.
Yeah.
Ugly holidays. Ugly Life Day sweater.
There you go. They can go with the Wookiee Pride Day shirt.
And
I like it a lot. But yeah, so we got stuff. we're always thinking a lot of our stuff comes out while we're on the air, which is pretty hilarious.
The nonsense flows.
The nonsense flows. We're very excited about everything that, but like we mentioned, jump on these baseball jerseys. They're gonna be great. They'll be fun, especially like, for example, on TeePublic, you can get baseball T-shirts, which are the 3/4 sleeves, which I love wearing, and then wear them underneath your baseball jersey, and they're pretty stancy.
Layering.
Absolutely.
I mean, I think that's gonna be pretty nice instead of having that freaking large baseball jersey to walk into the dunk in November. The baseball ones, it'll be a lot cooler, I think, a lot, not sweaty. Which yeah, we
I don't know. The dunk was the perfect place for the hockey jersey.
Yeah.
It could have like walked out of the dunk, taken off the hockey jersey, put the baseball jersey on for the rest of the con, but
right. But no, it's gonna be a lot of fun. But we're excited for all that, and also we are already designing our next racer, which will be revealed at the end of the year. We're gonna get through the baseball jerseys, give you a few months of reprieve before we release the graphic for the next racer, which is specific to the family vacation.
But still fun enough that could be worn without.
Oh, it could, yeah, absolutely. But it's specific. Yeah. It's an event specific, like our Bunta Eve at Anaheim was. But yeah, though. So like I said, we got a lot of great stuff coming on. We got a lot of great guests coming on, as always, as we're preparing for. So what was the name that we was that Summer of Ahsoka? Is that what we?
Summer of Ahsoka, White Hot Ahsoka Summer, and we're getting there. We're getting
something to do with Ahsoka.
We're in talks.
We're getting ready for our march to Ahsoka, which is fantastic. We're all excited about that, and we'll have a lot of other programming to be here. And here's the funny thing, guys. This is I think the first time in 23 that we're actually watching this movie.
We've gone quite some time without kind of reverting back to the old standards, as it were.
I have no problem with that.
Yeah. I mean, for a while, we were doing like every few months, we were back in the movie cycle. And that has been quite a stretch with a lot more content for us to refer to.
Oh, and if you're new to the channel and you didn't watch our last watch along with Hal Hickel and his, the movie he won the Academy Award for, Pirates of the Caribbean.
Star Wars adjacent.
That was a fantastic one.
Look that one up.
He actually brings on some nice props.
Oh yeah, he had some cool stuff.
I will leave it at that. And before we start, I want to give a quick shout out to our niece, Sassy Jr., Layla's birthday, Sweet 16 today.
Happy birthday, Layla.
She's probably not watching. She's probably still at the mall.
She's probably got way better things to do.
that's yeah.
Or knowing her mother, she's probably in the parking lot listening to the show, because that's what she does when her daughter's doing stuff.
That's true too.
But anyway, we're about that time right now. So bad pun considering that Lizzo was in Mandalorian. So we're gonna just do a 5-second countdown. Once everybody has their D+ machines all queued up, are you all ready?
Episode 4 is good to go.
Cue. So we're gonna start in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, play. So I know a lot of us went to go see Return of the Jedi in theaters a couple of weeks ago.
Oh yeah.
First and foremost, Jeff, how was that for you going to see a Star Wars on the big screen again, regardless of the fact that you've seen that movie a zillion times?
Yeah, it was very cool. Whenever they reissue those original movies, it's great to see them back up on a screen when you're used to seeing them on something much smaller and with inferior sound. And it brought me back to, viewing it first time and early times in the theater. So it was a lot of fun. You get a little better view of a lot of stuff, and it was great. I was
Like
stoked.
hello Sebulba? Like I was like, wait a minute. But Dave, was
Like
that the first time
Carrie
you saw
Fisher,
it since '83
star
in theater,
recipient.
or did you see it in special edition when it came out in the '90s?
Who? What?
I totally don't remember seeing it in the 90s in theaters. I don't recall. I think at that point I was actively protesting the special edition.
What's funny is that I think I
Because
missed
again,
part of them in the
OG is
for that.
like I am a little bit on the younger side of the OG Star Wars fan base. Is Jedi is the first one I recall seeing in theaters. It's the first movie I recall seeing in theaters, period.
Oh wow.
So yeah,
It's
that was amazing. And I think the first time I have seen it on screen since then.
the first time I saw it was when I went to wait in line for the first time at a movie before it opened. We weren't there that long. I think there was one or two people in front of us in line for whatever showing of it was on, the day it opened, probably early in the afternoon or something. And that was my first experience, actually. Oh, classic scene here. First experience going to wait for a movie, which I repeated when episode 1 came out. And but
The funny thing is, so like as I told the story many a time. Actually, I want to ask this one question. So, Dave, you said that this was probably the first time you saw it in the theater since you first saw it in '83. How was it bringing your kid with you to go see your first Star Wars movie?
I mean, it was great. I wish, it's the 40th anniversary. It's the time that it's coming out. I think it would have been nice if it had been out and I'd been able to expose her to it when she was more of the same age that I was when it came out. My daughter's 14 at this point. So, she enjoyed a lot of it. She loves the Star Wars, but she's a little bit snarky at it because it's, 80s movie cheese at its best.
And that one was definitely aimed at a certain demographic, more than some of the other ones kind of were. And that, like, I was 14 when it came out. I did go wait in line to see it. I was all about seeing the third part of the trilogy. And I was a little bit dismayed at the Ewoks, but take it with a grain of salt. I'm friends with an Ewok now, or a couple of them actually.
Couple of Ewoks.
I've met more than a handful of Ewoks, and they're very cool people. And so they've grown on me in more ways than one.
No, I mean, it's
you
actually
of
fantastic.
Another certain person.
Exactly. Well, I mean, I was about to say, it's like, I told the story several times. Like, I clearly remember, the trauma that I had as a child from watching Empire Strikes Back in the theaters in the 1980s. But I don't remember, going to see Jedi. But I remember, the special editions being re-released while I was in college and making sure that I was at the midnight show. And back then, they did around the clock. It was the first time in years that they ever did around the clock showings, and they were sold out. Every showing throughout the night was sold out at 3 o'clock in the morning, 4 o'clock, 5 o'clock, multiple theaters.
Mm-hmm.
And I remember having to travel into the city in Boston to go, because I went to school in the rural area, to go see it. But I remember going to see the special editions, and I made sure that opening night or opening weekend, every time a Star Wars movie came out, I had to be there because there's this trend going on, and it's part of who we are,
I had a handful of the VHS sets leading up to that, and cherished the last couple of versions before the special editions. Although I do have that on DVD as well, and probably Blu-ray. But I was going to comment on that hallway. Those stormtroopers seemed to shoot all right, unless there was a lot of friendly fire in that hallway.
Well, that's what they were saying there. Sherry's saying that over in the chat.
So,
it's ironic as well because we got a line later on saying they're precision shooters and
they did a pretty good job there.
So
they've been given a bad, whatever.
I really enjoy the shots that George has chosen here. Is you get the circular doorway, and then you get the kind of cutout keyhole shaped doorway that he really is framing everything in.
Oh yeah. I remember everybody like at school talking about how they shot that scene with Vader choking. He's like, he had a thing where he could hold it by his neck and he wasn't really choking him. And it's like he was standing on a chair.
There you go.
I want to give a shout out also to a Ubuntu alum, Brian Muir, who was the sculptor of the original helmet. Lovely gentleman. He's got a new book coming out shortly, but him and his wife Lindsay were at Bunta Eve London and were absolutely fantastic. We have a lot of Bunta Eve people in this movie. Two in the Cantina scene.
Oh yeah,
absolutely.
The Bunta reach extends. I love R2 right there. He's like, I got places to go, son. Join me.
But it's funny considering the fact that also now I think about the fact that Cleveland voiced R2 in the Family Guy one. So now I think of.
Well, I just see this whole thing as I see Laurel and Hardy.
Oh, very much.
Yeah, absolutely.
Although R2 is more, he's smarter, whereas Laurel and Hardy, I feel, were kind of more on the same level. Although Stan was kind of the dumb, portrayed more as the dumb one, but I think they were kind of more tied for how dumb they were. I think Hardy was just more sure of himself. Anyway, sorry.
No, please. And another plug for another show that's on D Plus right now that I've been binging is Muppets Mayhem.
I need to catch that.
Absolutely fantastic. And it is not geared for kids. I'm telling you right now.
The original show, I don't think, was really geared towards kids either.
I mean, kids a lot of the jokes will go over.
Sesame Street is kids, but the Muppets I always thought was upper.
The Muppets was more along the lines of, my opinion, like the Flintstones, where kids are going to watch it. They're going to not get any of the subtext and it's going to be enjoyable. Like, you know, you would think
visually entertaining. It doesn't have to be all.
But the Flintstones was the primetime show.
Right.
You know, that was the
Shrek. A lot of jokes in Shrek go over kids' heads.
Flintstones was basically the Honeymooners animated show.
Yeah. So and the original WB Bugs Bunny cartoons.
Oh yeah,
that was a more mature audience, Tunes. Like before a feature.
Right.
So
and then even like Animaniacs and Tiny Toons. Tiny Toons was sort of, but it still had a lot of stuff.
Tiny Toons was. Tiny
Toons
was a kid's show, but done in the vein of the classic Warner Brothers, so it threw that other stuff in.
Right.
The best sign.
Maniacs was, I think, a kid's show that was pushing the boundaries of everything that should be completely inappropriate to put in a kid's show.
The best sign that I saw on the writer's strike in LA right now is someone actually said there is that pay us good wages or we're going to the Warner Brothers studios and releasing the Animaniacs from the water tower.
There's been a lot of
I think those guys are gonna be at a con here soon. I think they're in Fanpoint. They're out, they're loose.
Yeah, I need to do a lunchtime drive-by of a few picket lines and see who's out there.
See if they'll sign.
I just go take pictures of signs.
And speaking of people signing, for shame, all those people who bum rushed Marshall.
You are wrong.
That is why he will not do a public signing. Thank you.
Getting mobbed so hard, and then it just ended so lamely.
And understand right now that if any of us in the main fandom like figure out who you are selling those on eBay. Yeah.
Well, there's like I was telling you before in a different place, we were talking about the autograph hounds that I see on the regular in Hollywood and other places. There was guys hanging around trying to get Rosario and Ashley Benson's autographs at the alcohol event I went to a few weeks ago, thanks to Spencer turning me onto the guest list. And they were, there was half a dozen guys just sort of milling around the property, not trying to encroach, but not sure how close they could get, and had their, stuff ready to get autographed if they could.
I mean,
Little did they know, all they had to do was stand in line. They could have walked inside and purchased at least.
If autograph hounds are going to, bully the Little Mermaid, it's on. Shit's
right.
about.
Well, here's the thing is, so like I have my board.
There was a bunch of them at the autograph.
If there's somebody that I want to get that's going to be in the area, like for example, Thundercat, the mod doctor from that is performing in Boston.
Yeah, he performs around here.
So I might go, try to get him, but I'm not going to go and be that guy that is like in his face, doing that. I mean, I did that for Kevin Smith a couple of times, in Boston. I waited my time. I said, yeah, just give us a few minutes. We'll take care of you. Fine. But Mark is somebody that we've all wanted for so long, since Celebration 2017 and New York Comic Con 2017. It hasn't done anything, and it's not enticing him to do anything ever again.
Oh, no, that's definitely sours his whole outlook on that process in general, not just like those guys, but like you said, Celebration and cons and other places where he has to deal with dickheads. Excuse my French.
No.
So speaking of like, we were talking earlier about virtual Cantina family in this movie. I think we got a scene coming up here, right?
With Tim Donaldson.
Yep, this is going to be Death Valley.
Yep. Yeah, he's got that funny little run, and it's kind of cute.
Cool.
But being a 6-year-old or however he was, it will do that. As it were. But yeah. I loved how mysterious the Jawas were back in the day.
Oh, completely were. We didn't have like all the lore, and we weren't seeing this. At least I wasn't on like giant screens or paying attention. Is like until really the Mandalorian. I didn't pay attention. Jawas are furry. What?
Yeah, that too.
I actually see the furry hands now. Like I'm looking at them.
Right. It's funny how you details you don't notice until they kind of bring them to the forefront for you. But yeah, I saw this on the big screen along with the other two at least a few times. I couldn't tell you how many, but I'm sure I went back quite a few times. It played for a long time. Back in the day, those movies weren't in the theater for a month.
Right.
Like they are now, and then on streaming or whatever the hell, into this video store or whatever, again, aging me specifically.
Yes.
It was, you watched it in the theater during the run, and you were happy it was there long enough for you to go back as many times as you felt necessary. Wow. And then you hoped it would be return like a Christmas release or a anniversary release, which we got a few of, which that's, I think, when I watched it probably more times when I got a little bit older.
I also want to plug also Bunta alums, the Diamond Brothers.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Frederick and Warwick.
Yeah, I think that's the first time I saw A New Hope. It gotta be like I don't think I ever saw it in any of the re-releases in the theaters or anything. It's gotta be on like Betamax.
Mm-hmm.
Whoa.
That dates you.
Yeah.
Early 80s. All right. Yeah, so I didn't go to the special edition of this or Empire or Jedi. I did see Empire special edition in the theater. Part of it was because they didn't leave them in as long as I kind of hoped, especially this. But then I was really disappointed when they released the 3D version of episode 1, and they were supposed to release all of them in 3D. That was
horrible. The rendering was horrible.
Yeah, sometimes it doesn't like they don't do it right when they try to make things 3D. But I was looking forward to episode 4, not episode 1, and I did so poorly. Partially, I would imagine because you say it was horrible, but also because it was episode 1, and that was not the time for episode 1. That they didn't even put the other ones out in 3D. God dang it. And here's a lot of troopers when there really wasn't that many troopers.
My precious.
Look, sir, precious.
Look,
I
a
love this
penny.
model. This model is amazing. It's funny about this stuff now that I started doing cosplay and building props and stuff. I just like stare at the weathering as it goes by instead of like looking at C-3PO's chest weathering and distressing and whatever the hell's been deposited there. Lots of oil. He needs an oil bath.
Yes, Lila, we are at 16:20, 16 minutes, 20 seconds, 21, 22, 23. Right in there, we are inside the sandcrawler.
So
Yes,
very
we're about to
excited
get to
watching
the
this.
Lars homestead.
Where's Lars Homestead? Hope to visit it one day. That'd be nice.
Yeah.
I also want to plug again, thank you everybody for joining us. And don't forget to join us on Monday as part of Rebels Revisited. The crew will be joined by Vanessa Marshall, who is the voice actor behind Hera Syndulla.
The originator of Hera.
So if you want to speak to Space Mom, join us on the Virtual Cantina Network, which is youtube.com/@Virtual Cantina Network. And also, don't forget, now our incredible baseball jerseys with our new Imperial logo.
Yes, the Imperial VC. We need like a show with that now. We need that needs to be like the show.
Oh, that's a quite possibility.
Luke, come down here and drink some blue milk, Luke.
Tales of the Dark Side.
It's a possibility.
Mm.
Mark that down for something to talk about after the show today, because that will be talking about the network.
Who's taking the minutes? We need somebody in the chat to take the minutes for us.
That's what
we need a new scribe. Or is that retired with Rich?
Yeah, we're not doing that again.
That's when Rich went away, that did as well. So, but somebody could take the minutes.
Yes. No title, different title.
Yes, definitely not the same title.
What's the I can't even think of the name. What's the Froofy Twi'lek in Book of Boba Fett?
Oh, the Major Domo?
Yeah.
I forget his real character name.
No,
we need a Major Domo to interface for it. Take minutes.
Mike's our Major Domo.
He is a Major Domo.
Oh,
best Domo ever.
And see, here
comes the hero of the rebellion right now.
Yes.
Okay, so
Savior of Mandalore.
I put something up in our chat. Death match: Chopper versus R2.
Yes, I saw
that.
Who did you in battle droids?
That's a tough one. That's a tough one.
I might have to go with Chop.
Yeah, Chopper is pretty hardcore, and he would go. R2 is a badass, but he seems a little more reserved, maybe. I don't know.
Depends on what version R2 you go with. I mean, prequel R2.
Oh, that's true.
Pretty.
He's packed with gadgets until they stopped working. But it'd be funny if they did one of those versions of the movie, and instead of taking R2, they took R5, and it said written and directed by George Lucas.
There you go. That's it.
It's over. That changed everything. We can't go. They're not going to get out. R2's not going to be able to make it to the princess, who we honored with the star ceremony last week, which was very cool.
So it's nice we got a backstory on the ship.
The T-16 Skyhopper?
Yeah, I was just turning around. There's some stuff on top of mine. I can't get it out.
The one that was retrieved by a specific Jawa named Tika, and sold for quite a profit to one Obi-Wan Kenobi. Absolutely. And if you wanted it cleaned, it definitely cost extra.
Great idea, Lila. Lila says that we should play kickball during our family vacation in our baseball jerseys.
Yeah, I don't want to take a ball to the face.
Well, we're not.
You can wear your Mando helmet.
Oh, there we go. That will help.
You can wear your full gear. You play dodgeball.
I'll wear this. Knock everything over while I'm at it. I'll wear this. You'll never get me. This would give me lots of padding. Ginormous skull.
See, you think about people are always like the original Star Wars is like it's action, action, action.
Oh,
and
it's
people complain about the amount of talking and stuff and
Yeah, this is-
dialogue in Andor. What is
I was gonna
this?
say it's Andor level kind of character building. There's a lot that's not just pew pew. Although the pew pew is amazing. And I think part of the you don't really need the pew pew so much because you have the other things like the Jawas to kind of mix things up. So you have, characters and situations that are interesting enough that you don't have to just have all the action all the time. And then again, more character building.
Hmm.
And then the questions that they have to retcon.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, but now they're retconning the retcon.
Yeah, double retcon. Yes.
Well, it's all true from a certain point of view.
Yes.
Even the retcon. But sometimes they can do amazing things and come up with awesome ideas that like make stuff make perfect sense, like the whole making R5 deliberately break down thing just is like the perfect example of that.
Well, did you know he's force sensitive?
There you go. So
Well, it was a force push that caused that little poor mouse droid to get pushed over the edge. That's what when he rolled up on him, he pushed him with force.
Well, he needed to get his count up there, so.
Oh, that's true.
Lila is saying dark
he's
side
not quite
versus
competing,
light
but he
side
can-
kickball, and you run with lightsabers. I'm like, let's notch it up. Let's dial it up a notch. Let's not play kickball. Let's play like wiffle ball with lightsabers.
Yeah, with a nice solid lightsaber.
Oh, gee. So say what you want. I know we got a lot of people in our group, and one person in this chat right now that's not a fan of Last Jedi, but the scene where R2 coerces Luke by re-showing the video of Leia.
It makes him guilty.
That was awesome. You have to admit that. You have to even admit the most
R2 knows how to push buttons, having
completely.
There
are so many moments in Last Jedi that are good. I wouldn't argue that at all. There's also so many moments that are just like,
I'll give you that. However, you could definitely say
the Last Jedi.
Try to make Luke feel guilty was one of the highlights.
Oh yeah, it brought R2 into so much more of a person, know.
Yeah.
But that was also one of the funniest things is that Luke has a joke, which kudos for Ryan Johnson for writing that. And watch your language. I was like, finally, someone in canon tells him to watch his language.
There you go. There's your blue milk.
He censored more times Richard Pryor and Eddie Murphy in the 80s.
Red Fox. I wish that the blue milk in Batu was a dairy-based milk as opposed to a plant-based milk.
Well,
or at least they had a variation that was dairy-based, huh?
I think they just went that way because it's Florida. And
well, it's also Anaheim, but
yeah.
No, but the thing is that they just
you don't want to be spoiling out there in the hot sun.
Spoiling, and also people with allergies. They didn't want to do dairy-based people who are lactose intolerant.
Take your allergies elsewhere.
Well, I mean, they could have done, like blue milk is lactose and green milk is,
or have both versions of both.
Yeah,
I don't know. I'm just saying that I think dairy version, since it's supposed to be milk. Like today, coworkers he asked me last week about going to Disney's California Adventure and like what kind of I thought of different things and maybe what he should plan on doing or whatever. And then today he's like, all right, tomorrow I'm going to Disneyland. We're going to ride rides and do this and that. And I'm like, yeah, well, you do this and do that in this order. And check out this stuff and that stuff, So you got to have that.
The iconic Luke twin sons.
He asked me specifically, is the milk, like he didn't ask me. He said, oh yeah, there's the blue milk and green milk and this and that. He's like, he thought you could go to Savi's and actually watch people do the ceremony. I was like, unfortunately, you have to buy it or you have to be the guest of somebody who bought it. Or you can see them come out and be all happy, but you don't get to see the actual ceremony unless you watch it on YouTube. And then the difference between that and the
I think this little place,
and
like
everything.
looking, this
He
room
expected
here
the
looks
milk
a
to
lot
be
like
dairy.
Doc's.
What's that?
This room, his like garage or whatever, looks
Right.
a lot like Doc's.
It has kind of that round feel. It also reminiscent of quite a bit of Watto's garage, a little bit, in some senses. That R2 unit, what a problem. Anyways, the point of what I was saying was that my coworker expected the milks to be dairy based.
Yeah,
it's called milk. It's not called blurred juice or something. They need blurred juice now. I don't know if they've had it, but they should have it. I wanted to see what blurred tastes like. Go squeeze one. Tell me what the juice is.
There you go.
So Keanu just sent me a video. It's some guy who's talking about, first and foremost, how the movie Idiocracy is not a documentary of 2020 through 2023, but the costume designer had such a bad.
I love that thing about the shoes.
Yeah, that they're all wearing Crocs.
They're like, these are the lamest shoes ever. Let's put them on these idiots. And then what happens? People love them and they propagate and they are freaking everywhere.
But the thing is that, like, just going back to Idiocracy, it is, unfortunately, it could be a documentary of the last 3 years.
Our early look at Tusken Raiders.
I really, right there, when I see that now, there we go. I wanted the one that ran up and handed off the rifle to do like a total like cowboy jump on the back of the Bantha thing. Although you'd have to have like a rocket pack or something to do it.
So those Banthas,
they could bury like a springboard or something.
Yeah, but that would be like.
But it is disheartening to me, or heartening to me, of George's original vision that the Banthas here are better than Book of Boba Fett.
I was about to say that, is that you find that these ones are not snuffy?
No,
these are elephants, so that's something they can't really do anymore, unfortunately.
And we're about to see the stunt coordinator for A New Hope, the legendary Peter Diamond,
doing the Tusken move here.
Yeah.
It's always interesting how the like you say, the stunt coordinator of this production gets in and does like the crazy job, and that's the same thing that JJ kind of talked about, it alluded to as stunt coordinator on The Mandalorian, that he gets drawn in to do the crazy job, or takes the job because he doesn't want somebody else to get hurt doing it. Luke, I don't know who you are, but I'm over here hiding out. Oh no, he does know who he is. What am I saying? Uh-oh.
Thank you, everybody who's joining us tonight. We really appreciate it, as always.
Mm-hmm.
And here's the force field for the first time that we see it.
Force wake up.
Hello there.
And here's the original hello there. Dave's giddy.
Well, the amount of emulation that Ewan did of Sir Alec Guinness makes the character.
I want to know is How natural was that? Is that something that Ewan himself said before he started doing this? Because at this point, it really seems that it becomes his natural what he says to greet people.
Right.
And I was like, is that all emulation of Alec Guinness, or is it a happy coincidence?
Mm,
I don't know.
that's a good question. Blip, blip.
Yeah, I saw that too.
That's exactly what R2 said right there. No, I need to have every time R2 blip blips have Cleveland talking.
Yep.
Just makes it that much better. I have to say that everything that Family Guy has ever done in parody or praise of Star Wars has been amazing. Everything that they've ever done.
Well, of
Him and
course,
Robot Chicken are just like spot on amazing.
well, I mean,
Ooh, I
Seth
haven't
MacFarlane
watched yet.
and Seth Green, two huge Star Wars fans, involved in
The
those properties.
Seths, yeah.
How was the new May the 4th Simpsons short? I haven't seen that
I
yet.
still haven't
Very
seen
cute.
it.
Very cute.
Anything with Maggie as the center character's got to be good though. She's pretty badass. That's what makes me laugh when I see there's the episode of The
Okay,
Simpsons.
so it's not a spoiler, but I will say she ends up in Grogu's pram.
That's in the ad.
That's in the thing.
Exactly. That's why I say it's not a spoiler.
Okay.
Oh,
So
look, there you go.
he always takes care of business.
Normal.
That's why I always laugh when I see the thing of Homer talking about his best thing he ever made was Lisa, and Maggie's sitting there all mad, and he's like, "Prove me wrong, Silent Bob."
There you go.
But she kind of has behind the scenes without taking like the praise or people knowing about it.
It's like, how easy is that just to like put his arm back on? There were like 47 wires coming out of there. It's like, no, and they were broken
Down to the last screw. He's good to go. Ooh, the Clone Wars. What was that?
That was a series that
I was once an animated character, just like your father.
is very cunning warrior, inflammable.
He didn't know to leave well enough alone when someone had the high ground.
I hate you. Please take my lightsaber and give it to my son.
Give it to my son.
This show is there's so many memes at this point.
Well, that's part of the the great thing of this saga is that it's not perfect, and the more you like it, the more you can do something like that and break it down for the inconsistencies, etc.
See,
The
what
whole
I
thing of
wonder now
Luke
is I'm
looking
sitting here.
in the hilt before he turns it on, like
Right.
Well, I'm
Should've
just
just put
watching
his
this
eye
whole
out.
scene and going like, did they make Anthony just sit there and not move a muscle
Right.
in the suit, or is
Yeah,
that just the suit propped up in a corner, or is Anthony?
I think he's
just sitting there
talked
like,
about that
"Holy
before.
crap,
I think
holy
that is there's a point where he does move though. Well, I guess he's powered down, isn't he?
Yeah.
Yeah. I think he's talked about that before, but I can't remember. Somebody in the chat probably knows.
They probably are, or it's probably in here that I haven't opened yet, but I ordered.
Oh yeah, it's probably in
it's
there.
probably in here. I
Yes.
should listen to this.
It's contained within that. Is that autograph on the packaging, or is that something you got?
No, that came this way. This was like the cheapest Anthony Daniels autograph you will ever find, because this whole deal I think was a Thanksgiving. I think it was a Black Friday deal. And it was like $45 for this whole deal.
That's a legit autograph on the inner.
Yes, it is.
Sleeve thing.
Yeah, it's inside. It's on the liner or whatever.
Right. Cool. That's awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah,
You still can't beat being able to get to see the man in person and get the autograph.
And have him sign his own nipple.
And yes, exactly.
Anyways, this is amazing. You serve with my father.
He's like,
Darth Vader.
that's how I remember you.
Yeah, it's like, here's this giant retcon. Oh, wait, I was once Vivian Lyra Blair.
You were my nanny for a couple weeks.
You made me float.
Yeah. Just like Pennywise.
I'm sorry. I am so getting that on a print when I see her this summer. Make me float.
Yeah.
I seen a lot of people get her to write. Politicians are just people who scream in itchy sweaters. She needs your help. Oh, so you're trying to expose the fact that they're related.
Hmm. No, there is another. Spoiler alert, sorry. Come on, I'm whiny. I like to whine.
So is the inside of Obi-Wan's house here, is that Tunisia as well?
Yes.
Well, but is it a place that still exists in Tunisia? I know the inside of the Lars homestead.
Some of it was a hotel inside and outside, wasn't it?
Yep.
Dun, 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 dun.
Is the Death Star still there?
Is the Death Star still in Tunisia?
Oh, it never was.
So now is
This is so
that extra seat for Krennic or is it for Thrawn?
Yeah. It's for somebody.
I mean, I would like to say it's
For
probably
Vader,
Krennic,
because he should sit down instead of just
Right.
standing around.
but I would say it's probably Krennic because if you want to link it up to A New Hope.
Exactly.
Well, there's more than one extra seat there, right? There's the scene right here by the camera, and then there's the one over there.
All right, so Filoni has flat out said that Thrawn is the big bad of the New Republic. Makes you wonder who is going to be the one to kill him.
Chopper.
He's on Grogu.
Chopper, there we go.
Chopper's going to push
Chopper
him
and Grogu are going to team up.
Phone.
Yeah, it's going to go to voicemail eventually.
Yes, I did order the Sports Illustrated football phone.
I bet you they don't leave a message either. So it's a call.
Religion? What ancient religion? Tell me more. Can you tell me the story of Darth Plagueis the West? No. Oh, save it. Just save it.
A Piet figure autographed by Richard Leparmentier, whatever his last name is. But I did have the pleasure of meeting him at Master Replicas party at Celebration 4, one of the after-hour events. It was very cool.
Yeah, and see how there's the level of evil the Empire is, that they just totally went and wiped out a village of sand people first to get their gaffy sticks and stuff just to stroll around.
The latter wrote you, someone's trying to reach you about extending your car warranty.
I have not considered that. They should call me and ask me about it.
Yeah, so Bryce is like, please tell me that's one of those desk phones with the flashing red light. You should keep it under a glass cake plate.
No, it's a crappy wireless handheld. Something.
We have an emergency landline phone at work. And my efforts to switch it out with the red bat phone were overruled.
They were thwarted. That's a voice over IP phone.
So that's why you,
a landline.
yeah,
No, we actually we have voice over IP, but we have an emergency one that is not voice over
Right.
IP, just in case
That's
that
wise.
goes.
Yeah. It's a good
Oh
fact.
no.
Crispy fried aunt
I'm
and
telling
uncle.
you, that ain't no Aunt Baru. No, that's got to get
Doesn't-
retconned. If they want to retcon something, that right there.
Those are a
You
couple
have
of
a
stick down stormtroopers.
a burnt sawed-off shotgun right next to her.
Yeah, there you go.
There you go.
That'll convince him, maybe.
Maybe, but I'm sitting there going like, no, those
And a pitcher of
those
blue
are some
milk.
stormtrooper bodies they threw in there to throw you off
Yeah.
the trail.
Now they're walking around wearing stormtrooper armor,
Mm-hmm.
trying to blend in. The cell is sort of, although a lot smaller, reminiscent of the one that Gideon had Grogu in. And then this ball is like the evil dark version of the one that went crazy in the cloning facility. Was it the cloning facility in Mando, where they were getting
Oh, the are you talking about
sort
the
of
one
medical facility
on Jack Black's planet?
right, that one, where they were talking to the technician and it just started lasering everything.
Yeah.
This has got to be the worst smell ever. I very highly doubt that Jawas smell like bacon. Well, they probably actually do smell like
It's
bacon.
possible.
That's
I
like-
mean,
But you
Ugnaught
like
would
roses
smell
or
like
something.
bacon. Like
they're
fried
furry.
Ugnaught would be like, ooh.
They're furry too. They probably
Yeah, this
burnt
smells
bacon.
like
Isn't that a line
cattle
from
branding or something.
from Robot Chicken? Didn't the Emperor ask or to say that Vader's probably smelled like hair and burnt bacon or something like
Yeah.
that?
No offense, Leilani. We love you, Tim.
Ika is the best Jawa.
Yes.
She was nowhere to be found at that point. At least nowhere near there. She was chilling at home while everybody else.
So why is Obi-Wan explaining this? Like, Luke is from this planet. Has he never been to Mos Eisley before?
He's gone to Tosche Station a bunch of times.
Yeah.
I don't know.
He also said he was trying to go to Anchorhead.
Yeah. And
Yeah,
see this like could we dumb down the CG just a little
Yeah, I was
bit?
gonna say it looks very video gamey in some of those shots.
It's like I appreciate the extra like content and development, but
Yeah,
could
it's
we like
almost overcrowded at some points.
yeah, could we 70s it up a bit?
Like this, the stuff they have passing in front of the camera. In some cases, it really works, but in other cases, it's just busy nonsense.
Right. And
And
why
like the
are
Ronto
these
was like,
stormtroopers wearing proton packs?
yeah, and then some of that background stuff, crazy droids that we kind of saw in episode 2, maybe. I don't know.
Yeah. And this is like the most disrespectful way for R2 to be a passenger.
Yeah, I know.
Like, is there not a droid
Laid
pod
out.
on those suckers or
Yeah.
way to
Somewhere to lock his feet in so he can sit up.
yeah.
Because then that was the thing when you played with your freaking land speeder, you laid R2 down and sat up C3PO, and that was just how you did it. Because it was in the movie.
No. Fight the power.
There you go. He's like he's surfing.
See, there's plenty of space right there. He
Yeah.
walks on like N1 starships and the
Yeah, no, he's probably got magnetic feet or
yeah,
whatever.
exactly. He's got this.
Yep. And you can lean into it too and be like cruising. Whoops, no, there you
Once that
go.
happens, and
He'll be off in the sand somewhere.
oops.
Oh, we're getting in close to the non-virtual cantina. Oh, there's some jobs. We don't serve their kind here.
I never noticed an alligator with a turban.
You know what's weird about that
That's
character?
special edition.
Yeah.
That character, they used that mask twice. So in one scene, he's got that turban on covering the back of his head, and he's got this weird kind of like gecko-y face or whatever, and then they were able to turn it around, and it's like it's a different kind of like elephanty looking kind of character, and then that's the back of the head. It's kind of trippy.
Hmm.
I think
So
they made figures.
why
of
is there
both.
not a meme of the guy who basically said you should talk to Chewbacca? It's like, yeah, I'll take your ride. And it's written directed by George Lucas.
Well, yeah. Well, and I'm like, he's rolling in there,
Before
and Ben
R2.
doesn't like stop him from rolling in there with a lightsaber hanging from the front of his belt. It's like, wait, this might draw a little bit more attention than we want. Nope, let's just take it
Right.
from the front of our belt. Fine.
There's not
Yeah,
much space behind that bar.
We had a Bunta.
See, there's the elephant guy. So
Oh, yeah.
that
there you
head
are.
turned around 180 degrees and covered with a turban is the other guy. So blah. Chewy. Uh-oh.
Mhm. Nope.
Me and Panda Baba.
Yeah,
He
but
does
here's
it.
what I'm gonna ask about that. Did anybody else think in Rogue One that Ponda Baba's head was like way too big?
Yeah, there's some scaling issues in some of those when they've revisited those characters. Felt that way about Nine Nub a little bit too.
Yeah, I'll see that too, but definitely Ponda Baba's head.
Well, I mean, but look at him, how far he is.
Might have
in
been the body,
background there,
though.
and how big his head is. So it's like, oh,
If the actor was smaller, like they had a Misty in there instead of somebody else.
And the wolf hand is satisfaction.
Shouldn't the lightsaber have cauterized that wound and not caused it to bleed out like that? Blibbity blop.
okay. You just turned into.
I love it. That's why I can pick it apart.
You just turned into the comic book guy from The Simpsons.
Yeah, exactly. Worst commentary ever.
Exactly. And see this unnecessary do-back CG.
Yeah, funky ass CG too, like you were saying. It's like dumbed down CG. Gotta love the original guys though. The Biff band, Figure and Dan and his modal modes are the best. See, now that's what Oga's needs is little like light
there it is.
balls behind, like along the edge of the bar. Fill the bar with a little more light.
Aren't those still on sale, Spencer?
Actually, yes, they are. If you go to our Square site, which is Bunta Eve Cantina at square.site, SITE, you can get some great Bunta Eve swag and merch. And we are down to 9 t-shirts left from 2023. Sold out completely after 9 more. Check out our page right there. You can order those right on the page.
And we're talking about, a 40th anniversary of Jedi, the snazzy little wicket pins.
Absolutely.
Very cool.
Timestamp Lila is 4848.
Yep.
Much better inventory management for Bunta Eve 4 than for Bunta Eve 3, I say.
Yeah, we learned a lot of lessons as well from 3 into 4, and we even learned lessons in 4. So that was one thing, I could say is that every one we do, we perfect. We tweak it and we do better, and it's nice.
Step up the level.
I mean, things are shipping. I still have like a stack of things I ship over to Europe. People bought stuff, but
oh, there we go. There's all the attention. We just use lightsabers, and here come the stormtroopers. Snaggletooth.
Where'd they go? They got out of there quick.
how much did he owe Jabba initially?
I don't remember.
About 350.
350. Oh, here we go.
McClunky Solo.
Where is that?
I wish they would quit adding things like
there he is.
Although McClunky makes me laugh.
Da-da-da.
Aha.
Very nice.
So in the theater, as I was an 8-year-old watching this movie, I was like, oh, what's going on? What's going to happen? That bad guy's going to shoot him. And then that's
Too much talking. McClunky.
and
No, but
then
see right there, Paul Blake even agrees. Look, where is it?
Yep.
See it?
Han shot first.
On shot first.
It's not even first. It's Han shot and
Han
Greedo
shot
died.
first.
Don't make me go to the other room and pull out my Funko that says I shot first and then Paul.
But
Oh,
there was only one shot, and it was Han, and Greedo was dead, and that's the end of the story. But they can change it all they want. But I like it less when they change it now because George is the one that should be changing it, if anybody.
well,
Did
that's
he put in McClunky before he sold it? No.
I don't know.
I thought that was a Disney edition.
Yeah, just look, random little flying droids for
Yeah. I love how they just like, "Oop, let me touch the door. Oh, it's secure. Let's move on."
Yeah, and again, I don't know. Someone out there, I'm sure knows because there's Star Wars minutia everywhere. What is the deal with the stormtroopers in the proton packs? What are they wearing? I don't know.
Extra cooling for the desert. Yeah, that's funny.
Well,
Look at there's that guy that Frank hates with all the eyeballs. He was talking to Luke. Long snoot. I hate that guy. Pisses me off. Oh, there's another Greedo just walking around.
yeah, the long snoot dude just completely reminds me of the guy with the glasses in Indy.
Yeah, that kind of Weasley kind of.
Uh-huh.
I despise this version of Jabba. I wish they would have just left in the fat guy with the furry coat on.
I also like the fact that also
man.
like they couldn't digitally make him walk around it, so they
Yeah,
actually
he steps on him. It's so.
You could see the horrible animation of Han going over his feet.
Yeah, them moving Han over him and him reacting. Look at this, like he's way too much like up on him, and Jabba's totally not there. But this was 97, so it's been 900 years since this was or changed. As old as Yoda, this version.
Yeah,
is.
that got
Like that's so dumb. And then him like just being like, whatever, go ahead and walk.
It's
over
like
me up
you
the
owe
wheel.
this dude money and he's about to kill you and you're gonna step on his tail.
Yeah. And there was a little guy in there. Don't do that. See, where's Salacious Crumb? Salacious Crumb should be like chilling on his shoulder or something.
Right.
Or on one of those other guys' shoulders, like that fancy pirate guy right there. What's up with him?
Yeah. And he's got like another Greedo, like dressed exactly the same.
Like if they would have, switched out the vest for a different color, or the jumpsuit, I can see being much more difficult.
Yeah.
But the vest or some kind of jacket or any kind of other variation.
Yeah, when you make the vest,
off.
make it reversible.
Yeah, there you go. I like Poncho Luke though. I need to sell that poncho on Batu because that's a pretty cool poncho.
Yeah,
I like that better than the Endor ones. Although the new Endor one on Batu is very cool. It's much more kind of Luke and Leia accurate.
Oh, is it greener than a lot of them are like brownish, and it's like no.
Well, it's less brown, and like the camo style is more like looks like it was brushed on, kind of like or sprayed on or whatever the movie one was. Whereas the one that they sold originally was sort of more almost traditional camo kind of style, but like chunkier.
Oh, here we go.
That ship, the ship's not doing anything.
Yeah, it's just sitting there. He's not doing a thing.
Then they're messing up that docking bay, though, man.
I'm thinking,
Pelly's gonna be pissed.
had that door closed off. Like,
Yeah, I got a new top plate this week for my
Oh,
Falcon.
sweet.
cool.
So that way I can have like multiple
Is that what you're gonna get
autographing
signed?
opportunities.
Just take that with you and have them sign that.
Well, what I want to do is I want to like put some resin over this so it's flat so that it actually has a decent surface to autograph. Just like clear resin under the
Say clear. A clear thin layer of resin just to get rid of the texture, kind of.
Yeah.
Fill in with
just so it's flat enough for signatures, and then like 3D print
see the details.
so this just kind of sits up on the back of the Falcon.
Oh, as the display piece, right? Punch it, Chewie.
There's a few maneuvers. You go slightly to the left.
Here's where the fun begins.
One of my favorite callbacks.
Oh, we got to talk to L3.
Yeah.
Is Dustin Crops.
Can you go sweet talk L3 for me?
I was so excited
that
to do that celebration because of Indy, but I was like, I'm glad that I didn't have my solo piece with me. That I was going to try to catch her to get on that. I need like 5 more people on that till it's complete, and she's one of them.
You got OP on that?
Who's that? OP? Yeah, I have OP. He was the first person I got.
Sweet.
Nice. OP's a cool guy.
OP Cunningham?
He was really interested in what I thought of Solo when I snuck into the Solo premiere party and hadn't seen the movie. But I told him I enjoyed it a lot. And I did later on, so it wasn't a lot.
It wasn't a lot.
Carrie with her British accent.
Oh yeah, the way she slips in and out of that through this movie is so. It's like me calling her Leia and Leah because I do that all the time. When we went to the star ceremony on Monday, or not Thursday last week, a week ago, my buddy gave me crap about calling her Leah. And I was like, I say it both ways.
It's not like there's not precedent for that.
It's just like Han and Han. I say both of those too. Even though like Lando was the only one who called him Han.
That was peaceful.
And they joked about that in Solo.
Right.
Don't destroy Drew, idiot.
More fun callbacks.
Stay inside the air shield.
Whatever you don't blow up. I mean, wait.
Yeah, but how is she so scared of how does she even know what this sucker's gonna do? I mean, I guess theoretically she could have known about the attack on Jeddah City.
What? Yeah. I heard about some of the stuff.
I want to see his fuzzy slippers.
Pan down, please. So I saw something right here with the board with the little thing that he pulls down in that one shot to fire the laser.
Yeah.
The local PBS station here in LA is KCET, and Lucas himself went to the KCET studio to film that shot, and the board operator was the one who pulled the handle while Lucas actually recorded it, filmed the shot.
See, I was going to say, it looks just like an audio mixing board.
Right. Exactly. So it's like KCET is the PBS station. So,
but that is a lot of channels mixing board.
Yeah,
that's like a 32 or.
That's probably why he had to go to some TV station to get that shot, because it wasn't something readily available.
It's interesting watching these chairs because I see how cushy the chairs are with Lando.
Yeah, and they're totally gone.
It's like he's sitting on the metal frames.
Yep, and that's what you get at Batuu when you go and fly the Falcon.
Yeah, see, there needs to be some more time for the op on that. They should just have a walkthrough version of the Falcon, like Tarzan's
So you can just sort of hang out in.
Yeah, because I get rushed every time, and I never get the picture that I want there.
Right. I've had more time sometimes on it. Like once in a while, you'll get in one of the queues will somehow get backed up, and so you'll wait longer. But it's very rare. It's like usually you're in there for a couple minutes and they call you your color. So you barely have enough time to maybe get a couple of photos or sit down at the table. But if you do go ride the Falcon and sit down at that Jarek table, that remote that Luke is fighting right now and the helmet are right behind you. I took a photo the last time I was there, pointing that out.
Yeah. Lila says her favorite trivia night team name is Citizens of Alderaan because the team always gets obliterated.
No. Blown out of the solar system by the good teams. Yeah, I went to
this control panel is so stolen from like the Bridge of the Enterprise.
You know, what did they have to reference? So
I mean, yeah, this was 77. That's been around since the 60s.
I'm sure it was instilled in all the people's kind of psyches when it came to building this stuff. Bzoop. Gajoink. Zapparino. Come on, Grogu can do better against the remote than you, son. I want to get that helmet. That needs to be a Black Series helmet.
Yeah, that would be.
With a solid white visor, but it'd have to come down. I mean, go up. Sorry. Down would be okay.
We always talk to Trek Bryce. You should know this by then.
The Trek gets hot.
It is. Look at the little like scope that he's sitting there. Instead of it just being the rectangular thing that Spock's peering into all the time, it's just two cylinders. It's the same concept.
I like the elements of his chairs in there are very much kind of like the Emperor's chair. We'll be here. Oh, I should have worn my Vice Admiral hat.
Oh yeah.
Instead of my Empire hat. I could pretend like I belong at that table. I'd probably piss off Vader and get choked out though, so that wouldn't last very long.
Just say something. Some interesting, very different view of hyperspace that they just
I was just thinking the same thing. That's like a crumpled paper version versus the kind of smooth sort of water like version that we get now.
Yeah, no Purgles in the crumpled paper.
You just gotta look to the right. Come on.
Oh, okay. Nobody ever looks to the right in hyperspace.
Nope. You're napping like Mando.
Good night, Sherry. Have a good evening.
See ya.
There you go.
I love this when you ride Rise of the Resistance, the callback to this, where all of a sudden the ship's being attacked by small fighters and they're like, we're too far out for small fighters. And then it's like, whoops. A fighter that size.
What are you talking about? A fighter that's deep couldn't get. Like the N1 Starfighter is smaller than that, and it goes all over everywhere.
But because it's Naboo technology, and they have the money, it has the ability to do what hyperspace.
And the Empire doesn't.
They didn't need it. Isn't there something about Thrawn thinking that the TIE fighters need to have hyperspace on them or something?
That's what like
the Interceptor or something is something that he
okay, initiated? Mark can actually forgive us. I think that's a large part of a lot of the plot of Rebels.
Right. Yeah, we're just dumb. Anyways, somebody in the chat can clarify.
Yeah, Sherry.
Yeah, she's checking out.
Yep, we can have spaceships, but our headphones still have wires.
Yeah. in the ship, they have to be wired to each other for a later scene. Sorry, spoiler alert. But I love that callback of the small fighters attacking the ship, and then all of a sudden there's a Star Destroyer or whatever.
Yeah.
In this case, of Death Star.
Well, and I don't know that there was a lot in this. You see this and how small it is, but I don't think you got a real sense of how big the Falcon is. You know,
right.
the Falcon is not a small ship.
They bring it into a, well, I guess it's like a reasonable size docking bay, but they have a billion different ones. I want to see that guy cruising down the hallway with his lights on now.
Gee.
The little mouse droid with his little red lights going after somebody.
Princess.
Oh, this elevator's taking forever. Oh, and it stopped halfway up.
It's like a platform.
Yeah, it's like a weird little platform. It's like you step off on the wrong place and you just fall into that shaft. More guardrails are needed, please.
Well, I'm pretty sure. I think that is an echo to like the way the lifts and stuff are on aircraft carriers.
Yeah, very much so. But it's like it seems like that one was smaller, like it was a section
It
of
didn't
what
fill the whole space
Yeah.
or something.
Right. It was like 8x8 square as opposed to 15 feet across or whatever that is.
Probably the fact that Lucas could only afford to rent the small scissor lift.
Yeah, they could barely put that on top of a scissor lift as it is. That would have been, I would have thought something like that would be something that he would go back and change and make it like a full elevator, because you wouldn't notice it so much, but it would be like a nice thing to kind of, complete it.
Apparently it's not something that bothered him.
I guess not. It rhymed, so he was good with it. I love the hiding in the smuggling compartments, though. This is cool.
Yeah, I just found out like with my Falcon that things that I never would have noticed before is when you have the lids on the smuggling compartments in there, there's not enough room for your figures to stand up. You have to have the lids off so they can sit.
Yeah, so they stand in that recessed area.
Yeah,
You just lie them down and cover them with the lids. You don't even see them. This is great thumping. It's like, no, whatever.
Hey, Peter. How
hello,
are you?
Peter.
Peter's here.
So if you are just joining us, we are at 1 minute, 8 seconds and 1 minute, 8 minutes and 20 seconds.
1 hour, 8 minutes and 20 seconds.
Yes.
TK421 just left his post.
Where did he go? Do you copy?
Doing the sideways, dude.
Oh. Doop. He's having problems with his communicator.
That comm don't work, dude. Bad transmitter. I love this. They're like so fast. How did they get there? Bwomp. Pew pew. Get some pew pew.
This is also like as soon as you fired, there was like smoke coming off the guy. I was like, so it's not really a laser. It was actually like, felt like gunpowder.
Space gunpowder. Plug it in.
How would you know they can interpret the entire, like, if you didn't remember having a droid?
And why does
No, he said, I don't ever remember owning a droid.
Okay.
He didn't say he didn't know R2. Said, no, I don't remember owning.
Technically, that was a work droid.
From a certain point of view.
Right.
But every time they get into trouble, R2 just whips it out.
Well, it's like apparently those little code cylinder things you just plug into anything. It's like, oh, here, let me pull out my ballpoint pen and stick it into and access the entire Imperial network.
There you go. Like these, where are they? My little data canisters that I made for my Mando. I gotta paint the little strappy thing brown so I can put it on my
Nice.
belt. But nice little silver containers.
Yeah, I've got some nice little like 3D printed code cylinders for my X-Wing pilot, but I want like the machined aluminum ones.
Oh yeah, that's cool. These are plastic that I covered in rub and buff. Sanded them in rub and buff, and they look like they're metal, but they're not. So, but I got to put them on my belt when my droid collar thing fell off. So I was never using it. Never called any droids, so I figured those would be better. And I've been wearing that belt with my Mando lately, so it kind of goes better with that.
Yeah, I think that's like what I have pieces of here is like droid collar pieces.
Nice.
Oh, Bryce is
Like,
out
I love 3D printing. I hate sanding.
That's one of the problems with 3D printing is some people like don't take it to the proper level and they just print things out, and then you see the nasty resolution print marks, whatever they call it, where you need to fill it in and sand it down to get it to really look like it should ultimately.
Yeah, well, that's why the stuff is still sitting on my desk.
You need to do the work. Didn't he give R2 an oil bath? Because he's still, I mean, C3PO, because he's still pretty nasty looking.
Yeah.
He did. But he was shiny for a while and then not shiny for a while.
Yeah.
Night, Bryce.
Yeah, Bryce is out of here. They got to keep him not shiny so that the entire crew doesn't show up in his reflection. The perils of reflective surfaces back in the day. Uh-oh, you do it. Those are some weak looking binders too.
Is there
I would
the
put a pair
binders
around
that
here
Grogu
somewhere. What's that?
had? They were the binders that Grogu had.
Well, those were thumb cuffs, but that's besides the point.
Yeah.
Those were finger cuffs.
Like
They were
you
definitely
might
tiny.
be the bad guys if you have baby-sized handcuffs.
Yeah, you would kind of have to have that realization. You would think, open that cabinet and you have the range of handcuffs all the way down to little tiny ones, and you're like, because they have to have some that would fit Wookiees better, but they just didn't have them with them at the time. There's the Death Star droid. I love those sort of background characters that they made into action figures back in the day. I could have my Death Star droid for my Death Star playset.
Sorry if this is rough here for you, Peter, but we're always here for you, my friend.
Absolutely. We love interacting with everybody in the chat that shows up for these things too. That's the point of doing this. Otherwise, we could just be, watching A New Hope and being snarky in our own living rooms by ourselves.
Yeah, which would
and we do that too.
Do that as well, but
but
like I was sitting next to Lamont at the Return of the Jedi in the theater, and there was a few times where I'm like, but it's with love.
Absolutely.
These movies are very, very special to me. So I've always claimed to be a Star Wars geek, even when it wasn't cool. Now it's like too cool, and it's almost like, do I want to be a Star Wars geek anymore?
I joked about that all the time, when I talk to people, like, everything from our childhood is cool again, or it's cool
Mainstream.
and mainstream, and we're all like, yeah, we were there when it was not cool.
It was fringe.
So like that.
Well, there are things from our childhood that aren't particularly cool.
Everything was cool. No, that's very true. We just had a lot of things that ended up being cool, but there's a ton of stuff that was the opposite of cool for sure.
I was explaining Captain Planet to somebody the other day. And they were like,
a good version of Captain Planet is Don Cheadle.
Don Cheadle. Yeah, that's exactly what I told this person too. Is like, okay, now before you go watch actual Captain Planet, I want you to go watch the SNL version of Captain
Yeah,
Planet.
that's pretty funny.
I watched one of Emily's. By the way, Emily has a new YouTube channel.
Oh yeah, she was pushing it. She has some
And
funny stuff in there.
she had a funny thing, and she actually said from during a
Oh,
competition, no whammies, big money. And I'm like, oh my
Ooh.
God, that's a throwback. And she dropped the word rad quite often.
Rad,
So
yeah.
I messaged her the other day. Is on one of her posts is like the mannequin, just random mannequin scene with no legs and no missing an arm. It's like this mannequin didn't have the high or had a bad encounter with someone with the high ground.
She commented on it or anything? Or?
I haven't had a chance to even check to see if I got a message back.
I love this whole scene with Han's interaction with the guy in the over the comm, and then this thing, Luke and Leia, is just classic.
Oh, classic 80s banter, 70s banter.
And gotta love space because there's no space underwear.
Yeah.
See, I like the theory of, was this the first time that he'd ever referred to himself as Skywalker? You know, before that moment, was he Luke Lars?
Never thought of
You
that.
not heard that one?
Mm-mm.
But that was a lot of the concept of like how he was hidden or whatever on Tatooine.
Right.
Is that
Right. That would kind of make sense.
Referred to as Luke Skywalker until he says it right there. I don't think. Right?
How would you know about the fact?
Right. That would have been yeah, be interesting to have that addressed in some sort of pre.
I don't remember it being addressed. Even did they call him Skywalker? Or they just call him Luke in Obi-Wan. I don't think they said Skywalker.
Called Luke.
Yeah.
Good point. It would make sense to just have the kid use your last name for ease. Like my brothers used my dad's last name, even though he wasn't their biological father, but it made the family more kind of easy to manipulate until they got older and decided to use their dad's last name. So
Yeah.
they had the choice and they did it. But having
and
the same last name made things simpler.
Even if you don't do that, if people know the names of your step parents, like mine is, they would have assumed that my last name was the same as their last name. They
right.
They just assume that.
Yes, yeah, that's kind of the common thing.
I listened to the opposite cool was dropping lines from V. I enjoyed V back in the day.
V was a trip. It was creepy as hell, but it was a trip. I love C-3PO's dome dent, sort of reminiscent of Boba Fett. I don't remember it being so pronounced before, though.
Oh, the dent.
Yeah, he's got a big old knot right here on his.
Yeah, there's no dent in the figure case.
Right. Maybe Luke hammers it out later. Maybe he sent C-3PO in for warranty repairs, and Vader fixed it for him.
Those stormtrooper like armor is surprisingly, like, they're surprisingly mobile in it. The troopers look like all robotic, but Luke and Han just like jump around and do whatever they want to in it.
I wonder if it's based on the varying materials that were made for the different parts, and like maybe they have ones that are softer or lighter or something.
Oh, I mean, I've seen now. Have you seen that there's a couple of guys on the internet now putting out rubber Mando armor?
Oh wow.
Oh yeah, it's really, but it's completely flexible rubber pauldrons and chest, and especially like the tailpiece, the butt plate.
Right. Yeah, that's where you really want it. Having all those hard pieces down in that region is not easy to deal with. Chewie growling. Chewie don't like them Dianogas. I've never seen Chewie interact with the Dianoga on Batuu. That would be an interesting thing. See if he.
Here you go.
Okay.
Chewie's not
like,
as matted as he was when he was on Mibian and Solo.
Oh man, he was. Yeah, they did some weird stuff with his. He needed to go get like to the hairstylist or something. The barber. I love how he's in like half a foot of water, but well, the main thing
He's
is
still all the way under, and it's like,
and they couldn't find him. It's like he's right there.
Oh, so apparently there's downloadable content in Lego Skywalker, so where you can play as Luke Starkiller.
Oh wow.
See, that would be good content and good things to know for the constantly mentioned and suggested possible video game show that,
Yeah. For those that are
on the network
good at video games or enjoy watching them, keep an eye out.
That's never good when the big scary thing gets scared.
Yeah.
It's never good.
Metal groaning. First it was,
look, there's a part 2 that you can fashion on an N1 starfighter to make it go faster.
That one piece right
like
there. Space carburetor. No. Muffler. I don't know.
Yeah, straight pipes, leg pipes for.
Yeah. Yep, there's another thingy. Like, wouldn't you try to like put it in that like notch to maybe wedge it in there better?
You would think you would.
Strong. And kind of the purpose of that room is to stop things like that from happening and crush them. If one piece like at the wrong angle was going to keep it from doing its job, I think they would have addressed that long ago. I love this.
It's cool to be anyone, Lila. Don't be harsh and Punky Brewster. Soleil Moon Fry is cool.
She definitely got cooler after Punky Brewster.
Hey,
but
I mean, in my mind, a lot of 80s childhood can be summed up by Punky Brewster and Rainbow Bright.
Okay. Throw in Small Wonder.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, right.
Arg. It's not working, Han. Look at that thing flex. It's like, I gotta pull it down so it doesn't pop up.
Oh, nope, doesn't do. Like, answer the phone, 3PO.
3PO.
Like, maybe I should have kept the cell phone.
Yes, weren't you supposed to hold on to that? I hate when I lose my cell phone. Chewie gonna get out. Blurp bleep blop. Where could they be? Whistle beep. He turned it off. He didn't turn it off. He just set it down.
He just set it down in the control room.
And now it's in his hand. It's a little continuity error there. I didn't notice that before.
The garbage mashers.
Yeah, the garbage mashers.
Mashers, smashers.
I find interesting in this scene is that they're sort of allowing, Luke specifically is allowing a lot of that stuff to crush him, whereas everybody else seems to be like on top of the stuff, and he's sort of in the mix, like letting it crush around. They're dying, R2.
Yeah.
Now open the damn door.
It's like, what?
Open the door. Effing door, like Star-Lord says.
Pressure maintenance hatch. Come on. That's some of that writing that Mark always says about like George can write it, but people don't say it.
People can't say it. It's not something people say. I want to see. Oh, no, it's too early for that. I was going to say I wanted to see Matt, the radar technician, walk by, but he's not alive. So,
Or see at least
25 years
the
out.
orange like life preserver vest.
Yep. See a radar technician cruise by. Be like, what's that old man doing on the back of that thing?
Okay, like where did they get their old clothes? Where were they?
Or just wearing it underneath or something.
Oh, let's just shoot stuff.
They threw it in the trash first. I don't know. Yeah, they didn't have anything when they came in up into that part of the holding area.
Yeah, they weren't like keeping it in their stormtrooper backpacks or anything.
Their proton packs.
Yeah, on their backs, equipped, and they split. No, sorry, going down that road. See, we need to find a Star Wars adjacent reason to watch Ghostbusters.
There we go. Let's do some research.
Do you see the picture? I don't know if you saw that, but there's pictures of the Firehouse, the next movie, with William Atherton walking around the streets.
I have seen that William Atherton is back.
And he's doing a signing with the Cantina guys.
Nice.
And someone asked this morning when I saw the signing, is it true? And I answered the question.
Yes. Exactly. There's going to be a lot of that.
Yeah.
Like, it is. It's this man is some sort of rodent. I don't know which.
Mm.
I hate the TV edited version of that. That was like one of my favorite things as a kid is Han like running through the hallway.
Yeah.
There was too many damn stormtroopers in that.
There were a lot of stormtroopers in that scene. They're just.
It was plenty. I mean, it wasn't a lot, but it was plenty in the original version. But he just went overboard in that.
It's like copy paste, copy
So
paste, copy paste.
This scene
Like,
was
okay.
This scene was one of the trivia questions at Scum and Villainy Cantina on May the 4th. They did trivia at around noon, 12:30, and the first round was some fairly hard questions. I think I got less than half, but one of them was, why did they have to swing across?
Because Luke is a doofus and shot the.
You got it. I said the thing was broken, but I forgot that it was because he shot the control.
But it doesn't make sense to why those guys aren't extending a bridge or anything
Yeah.
up there. They're just sitting there on.
Yeah, there's a lot of questions like that. Well, the real answer is that they didn't build a bridge. So they had that little slot on the other side to shoot that scene from. And I love this. It's like, okay, the thing's up 6 inches. A gun would fit underneath there nicely.
Right. It's like
Shoot them in the feet. They'd be down. Look at that right there. That guy in the back is down the ramp. Like he'd be all over their calves. And look at it right there too. Anyways. But yeah, ever since I was young, that part with the raising it up a little bit at a time, always like they could have got through there.
I never noticed that silver domed neck
Blue droid.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's some of that stuff's really one of the best parts of rewatching, just to see trippy little background stuff. Pew pew.
Which was the first sound effect in the finals of the celebration contest. It's a nice pew pew.
Oh.
See, if you want to do a special edition, the fan made version of this.
Oh yeah, this fight That guy did
Put that in there.
Yeah, that was awesome.
that fight. That version of this fight is outstanding.
My brother, who was born, as a prequel baby, he said he can hardly watch the original movies because the fight choreography is so abysmal.
Well, um, this is sort of Laurence Olivier style fighting or whatever.
What's
Or
nothing?
Errol Flynn, but not even that. It's
Sugar
still
Bomb.
slower
My
than that.
name is Inigo Montoya.
There you go.
You
Mandy
killed
Patinkin's-
It's
Padawan.
not like it's a rapier or anything, like that.
Well, I mean, it's like it's kind of a similar deal. Is they are more fencing than the capoeira or whatever it is that they're doing in the prequels.
But this is like sword fighting because it's like they're both
Yeah.
two-handed, and the idea behind that is that it takes that much to wield it somehow, even though we see characters doing a lot of one-handed fighting and everything else nowadays.
Yeah.
And since then, but so it's more like they're holding a big heavy metal sword and they have to hold it with two hands to control it. It's a heavy metal sword. I love these little.
We need him to do the overhead.
Teep, tap,
Points.
tap. See, because that's fencing moves right there, except you would be doing it with one hand and
Right.
instead of
Yeah, a lot of that is bits and pieces of fencing where
just the little tip that taps to
yeah,
get your opponent.
it's like you're
in.
testing your opponent a little bit there.
Hi. In the middle of a big storm fight. Do you see the bad guys?
Like, ooh, look at this. Let's go watch. Oh wait, is somebody trying to get out?
Woo.
But here's the question: if he didn't see Luke watching through the screen, do you think he would have stopped fighting?
I don't know. Should he not have sensed him? He felt his presence.
Possible.
Oh, she almost got shot in the face. Look at that. The elevator's like, whoop. You'd think he just would have stuck his saber in.
Yeah, that's exactly what I was thinking. Is
Or
like
his just
small
hand out
Liam
and stopped it.
Neeson the door.
Stopped it, and then it would have reversed. Or he would have pulled the stormtrooper into it, and they would have got
Yeah. Pretty sure you pushed the levers the wrong direction.
Slurp.
No continuity.
Arg, arg. Poor Luke.
Sad.
I love the memes of this where he's all consoling him, like, oh, some old guy you just met died, and I don't care that, my entire planet was blown up moments ago. He's gone. I barely knew him.
And what is C-3PO doing over there? Is he nodding off?
Yeah.
Droid is like, ooh.
Keeps looking down, yeah. Uh-huh. What?
Oh, there we go. See, this is the biggest miss that I think too. This is why I want the Falcon to be like a Tarzan's treehouse. Is I know they have that ladder, but I want it to go to the pod.
Yeah, the stupid thing is the ladder goes to nowhere.
Yeah.
And then the bottom one is like the door is closed, right?
Right.
So, I mean, the idea is there, but it's definitely not something that you could interact with.
And
But
I
yeah,
mean,
being
I
able to
understand
climb up into it
why.
and then sit in the chair for a second and see like a screen would be pretty cool.
Yeah. Well, I mean, yeah, it would be cool if you could get in there and be the gunner in
Right.
the ride.
During the ride, yeah.
Now I understand like why exactly you can't do it because that's not really universally accessible. The Falcon is not ADA compliant, but
Right. Yeah. Having to climb up a ladder would limit people's ability to enjoy that part, but it would be cool.
But you could have it on another floor and they could come in from another
Yeah, you could
way.
have them access it a different way for sure.
Yeah.
You could let people that wanted to experience it.
Because
like
see, there's
move,
that door
climb up the
behind
ladder.
Han there in his version of the pod. There's the hallway that comes up to it.
Right. Well, it's
I guess it's
not the hallway, it's the shaft.
It's the shaft where the ladders
So
are.
the top of the ship versus the bottom or whatever. So it's just that in that chair, they seem like they're sort of defying gravity almost. Because technically they're both of them's backs to the ship itself. So like Luke would be facing straight down.
Playing Pong.
Fixing straight up. Pew pew. Booyah.
And that explosion, the special edition, a little excessive.
Yeah. It
It's
did
like,
up quite a bit.
that
But the
particular
practical,
TIE
some of the
fighter
practical
was
ones were like, what was that about, Carrie?
But no, that particular TIE fighter was carrying like a
Extra fuel or something.
I don't know.
Right. I'm taking an awful risk, Beta. He calls him Vader, but Obi-Wan called him Darth.
Yep.
Which later on I thought that was weird because technically
I think it's funny that
like
Han had time to put on driving gloves before
he
used the shooting
as he
thing.
climbed up the ladder.
It's like, oh, you gotta have driving gloves.
Or as he climbed back down. It is for me, sister. And now he doesn't have them on. Did he just take them off?
He took them off in the scene previous to this. He was taking them off. That's what I was saying. They're not even driving gloves. He's not driving with them on. He was just running the turbo laser with them on.
That's his shooting gloves.
Mm-hmm.
He has a glove closet like Lando had a cape closet.
Yeah, right. He converted it.
Oh,
you go in there.
Lila's like, interesting. Han calling her sister. Poor Shadow.
Yeah.
He's got like the pants hangers, but instead that the pants attached to those little tong things, it's gloves.
No, they're nailed up on the wall of his bunk like Willie Mays Hayes.
I'm just thinking that too.
Oh, it's like a wall of gloves like in Andor outside of Brasso's work.
Oh, there you go, that too.
Yeah, like the Willie Mays Hayes. Someone posted on Willie Mays' birthday the other day. He just did a hashtag say hey. I was like, you may run like Hayes, but you may hit like Hayes, but you run like shit.
The white zone is for loading and unloading of passengers only.
That's funny. That was what I turned on last night. Like when I got home, like because I didn't want to watch anything serious, so I turned on like Airport 75.
Oh God,
Airport 76 or something like that.
Right. I think it was 74 and 77. Anyways,
there's three of them.
Isn't that like one of the movies that they're watching on an airplane?
Probably.
Yes.
I know they reference it a lot in Airplane.
Yes.
I love how they couldn't get the 3D model, graphic that they created to be exactly like the Death Star. It's just very close, but it's not quite.
Lila, you just figuring out that we totally rip on Mystery Science Theater 3000. We've been doing this for 3 years now. We've been saying that ever since.
There's actually one of the first immersives I created was a Mystery Science Theater 3000. And we put
They're looking the wrong direction
on the screen. Yeah.
Oh, we're looking the wrong
First learned to do immersives. That's where my mind went.
Yep. Very obvious conclusion. And if we could do it more like them, we would. If we could just put up our silhouettes.
Oh yeah, if we could actually
put
like
the
get
movie
by
up.
with playing the film on the screen while we
Yeah, it's the
that
dream.
would be amazing.
Well, here's where he talks about Princess Leia.
Yes. Those are the code cylinders, like in the little
Pew pew.
Not one mention about Scarif.
yeah. But this is like this right here, just the 70s those are cutting edge 70s graphics or computer graphics right there.
I love how the shot has weight to it somehow or whatever. It's getting, I guess it's getting sucked into that shaft. But I thought it was an exhaust port. So you'd think it would get blown out, but it does like that thing where it drops sort of like Defender or something.
Yeah.
This is very cool. These graphics are amazing for the time. With the planet coming around the bend and all of that.
Now, were those up? Those weren't updated at all in the special edition, were they? That's the same.
Yeah. Oh, I don't know. That could be an updated version. The one that you referenced is definitely the original.
Yeah. Wonder what his reward is. It looks like they're just in, reel to reel, like 16mm projector cases.
Mm-hmm.
Like, look,
I got the movie. I'm gonna go play it.
Yeah, exactly. It's like Spaceballs. I got the movie right here, and I'm gonna go merchandising.
When does this happen?
Great if they had
now
in the firing chamber on the Falcon, if they were able to do something like the Death Blossom from Last Starfighter.
Well, I got to put together my X-wing pilot suit. I bought the bib and I have an orange jumpsuit. Now I got to get the box and the hoses and the couple other little things like the belt. And I have
the belt I use on mine is I just wear my Han Solo gun holster.
Bye, Peter.
Well, he has that gray one. That's what I want to kind of get something like that.
Well, the gray things, the straps that go around the arms and the legs, I bought a long section of seatbelt.
Oh, that works.
Yeah, you can buy it in
nylon webbing,
15 or 20-foot lengths. Nylon webbing. It's literally a seatbelt, and you just buy that, and you can cut it up and
probably use something I already have and just paint it.
Yeah, but no, that's literally what mine is. Mine is seat belts, and I just took it together and stitched it together with an awl, like a saddle stitcher.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, seat belts.
And the chest box, I literally bought once. They made a Star Wars laser tag game. Essentially.
Oh yeah.
And it has that and the Han Solo blasters. So. Mm-hmm. That is what I use. And because those blasters are so colorful, there's like a red one, a red and white one, and an orange one. Is those I can just take and have at cons because they're so bright.
This is one of my favorites I got at Celebration, was I actually got Wedge and Biggs.
Very nice.
I mean, I can't get Hoots because he passed, but
yes,
right.
No, I like that.
Well, and I knew that I was because I was going to do something else for Wedge. And then when I found out that I was going to be able to meet Biggs at Cantina, I'm like, I do have a pop with both of them in it. Okay, I got to do it.
We see Luke racing as a bush pilot. We'll see. I think it will be fun if we see Luke essentially like pod racing or something as he grows up or whatever.
Oh yeah, especially seeing him
bullseye some womp rats.
I was at this T16 back home.
Mm-hmm.
I'm hearing damn voices.
Well, I mean, he's like a crappy pilot because he does.
Yeah, I was always
it's
wondered about
off.
that bouncy thing. I'm like, why is it so bouncy? Can't you just go up smooth? Man. The announcer's guy name is Man. I did like this extra X-Wings shot.
I do. I like I said, as I wish they had taken the technology and just like Gaussian blurred it slightly, just like point.
It's very kind of crisp and clear. You need some depth and stuff. So that's one thing they weren't as adept at.
Right.
But it's cool to see all these guys are like moving around a lot. Like, where's all this turbulence coming from? The exhaust ports all over that thing pumping gas at you guys or something? Getting farted on by the Death Star?
I don't know.
Because they don't fly like they're bouncing around. When they show the wide shots of them flying, they're not all. I guess it was reminiscent of cockpit footage or something. Because all of this is based on dogfights.
It doesn't look like that in like Top Gun, right?
Right. But I mean
that's
like,
of course so much later.
School. Yeah, I don't know.
I'm just saying right now, because anything that we tend to say on the watch-alongs and the shows that eventually Lucasfilm does that X-Wing Top Gun movie.
There you go.
Yeah.
I love the surface of the
Like we were talking about the space pirates, on the space Mandalores on the planet, and one that ends up being Warlock from Top Gun Maverick.
Yes.
Get the crews to that.
There you go, right there. That's an excuse to watch Top Gun and a watch along.
Yeah.
Now it's Star Wars adjacent.
Okay.
You mean Maverick is because of how Star Wars-esque it is in general?
That too.
Well, that too. Oh
no, crispy fried porkins. No,
right.
Crispy fried porkins.
Pew.
Yeah, so that was the thing I was talking about, the trivia for Scum and Villainy. The second round was all audio effects, and it was hard as hell because there's so many things that you like hear for like that second, but you can't exactly place.
Right.
And I think one of the hardest ones in that round was Aunt Beru's some device that she has in the
like
early
the space blender that she put crap in.
Yeah, something like that. But it was more of like I don't know.
So,
oh no, crunchy.
Look at kind of like bok choy.
Look out! Look out!
So that checkerboard helmet that's the new one that they've got on.
That's Biggs,
right? Yeah, it's like Biggs.
So it's Biggs, but it's not Biggs because the one that they sell on Batu doesn't have his little icons.
The emblem in the front.
It has all like the checkerboard and the lines, but doesn't have the icon things like.
Well, that's a Sharpie away, paint.
Yeah. I could print a vinyl
yeah,
or a stencil and do something with it. Man, it's funny the generic people.
So do you see here? You're seeing too on like the leaders of this rebellion. They've got the rank badges like you see in the Rangers of the New Republic. It's those same kind of dice looking.
Oh, right.
The red dice looking rank badges.
Yeah, those are standardized at this point.
Yeah. Did anybody like have the A-wing?
Vader was doing
whatever.
Right
I don't know that I've ever met anyone that had an A-wing.
I know plenty.
Everybody's got an X-wing or the Falcon.
I've seen A-wings and I've seen Y-wings.
No, I've seen the physical toys, but I don't know that I know anyone that had them. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
When I was a kid, I ended up with the Falcon, X-Wing, regular TIE fighter, Vader's TIE fighter, like land speeder, and that weird transport vehicle, and maybe some other ones, but I think that, and then the Death Star, which really doesn't count as a vehicle. But it is.
No, I ended up having to get most of those as an adult because I wanted and never had an X-Wing. I had Luke in X-Wing gear, had
Right.
that figure.
I have that. My
And
X-Wing has broken wings, though they're physically broken.
Yeah.
Isn't it hanging for your ceiling though?
What's that?
The ones on my ceiling are all reissues or remolds that they put out. So like the Falcon looks like the Falcon from the 70s, but it's they use this.
It's the grayer one, right? It's a little grayer.
And also the way that I don't know if they use the originals or they cast it again or something, because it feels a little softer. Like the edges aren't as hard, sharp as the original. But it's very much the same in almost all senses, though. The same with the ships before they redid them. Like they put out the TIE fighters originally, and the wings are like tiny compared to like the actual TIE fighters, like in scale.
Well, and they put a lot more like shading and stuff on the reissue.
Oh yeah,
this
battle
is
damage on the new stuff.
Speeder.
Yeah, amazing.
The reissue snow got all the stuff on it, where the other one was just like off-white plastic.
Yeah. Well, that was the thing about, for the longest time, all the ships were pristine, not even like movie accurate technically. And then like when they did like battle damaged X-Wing or something, one of those early like modification type things, it just went haywire from there, and everybody needed that kind of better deco up the game. But now, I mean, back then you could buy figures for $1.50.
Right.
You can pay $30 for that figure.
Well, yeah, as I've got, see, my Max Rebo that I just bought, is I was taking off Walmart clearance stickers that were right here, and this dude was $250. I did not pay $250 for this. The Max Rebo is a popular.
You wish you were there to get it for $250.
Yeah.
Well, like I was looking at an advertisement for like those big clunky WWF figures from LJN, and they were like $12.99 back then when we were kids.
Giant hunks of plastic.
Yeah.
I remember when McFarlane had to up their price a little bit from the standard figure cost, because their figures were like 3 to 5 times the amount of plastic in your average figure. But like even this guy, I just got, look at how tiny he is. He was $26.
Yeah.
This would have been $3 worth of action figure back in the day. These guys are not good at this, I have to say.
Why? Anyone ever question why did Darth Vader jump in the TIE fighter? Did he sense that it was going to blow up, so he knew to get out, or
just wanted to go play?
What if he had decided to say, "Yeah, I'm going to go with that," because it's like, this is where the fun begins. That's Anakin coming through.
That's like pod racing. Let's go.
Exactly.
Well, I mean, I can't think if you take in like a trope, for example. I mean, it came out afterwards, but if you watch the movie Iron Eagle, and one of the soldiers, the main guy, runs up to the one of his fighters and says, "Out of your jumpsuit now!" And like he took over the plane right there, because he's like, "No one's gonna beat me. He's the top dog. He's the top gun." Vader probably knew, he's like, all my ships are being shot down. I can take care of this kid.
Yeah, let me even the odds.
Well, and it's got to be not without precedent that he's got his own specialized ship. His isn't like just like it's not like he hopped in one. No,
that's one thing that they
TIE fighter.
No, because
they did a good job of sort of setting that precedent in the prequels, where everything he kind of laid his hands on was custom. or a variation or different than what the masses had.
I'm sure he like had an extra battery pack in there that he plugged in for like lightning
A
plug.
nitrous in there.
Yeah, he's got his his breathing apparatus.
R2's got to reach a long way to work on that ship. I didn't realize that. But yeah, so like Vader, his pod racer was different. His Jedi Starfighter was very similar, especially in the couple, like I think it was episode 2. But if you see the version that he had in the Clone Wars, that thing is like a hot rod.
Mm.
And it's got I think it was the micro series that he had it. I'm not sure. He might have had it in the regular series too. But I have that one hanging from my ceiling as well. But it has, now that I think about it, it's similar paint job to kind of Ahsoka, blue and white.
It's like put on the brakes, it'll fly right by. Wait, no.
It's like, first, let me take out that little bugger. He's been the bane of my existence for the last 30 years. Shoot that guy. This is the part with Cleveland as R2.
F you son of a bitch.
I was just gonna cuss. But yeah, it's classic if you get a chance to watch. What?
There you go.
Yahoo.com.
I'm gonna hurl.
All right, here we go.
Pew pew pew. I got it. Oh, that feels cool.
I want to say those looked better.
There's the shot right there.
Special edition too. The proton torpedoes or whatever.
Oh yeah. The blow up for sure.
It's going supernova.
It was a lot less dramatic originally, which is cool. I feel for those contractors though. I mean,
they're independent contractors. No, this one. That's not this one.
Yeah, that's the Death Star.
This one was completed. This was
just
occupied
innocent, conscripted soldiers. That's all.
Yeah.
Last Friday at the Smod Castle, Kevin did a full presentation of all the Star Wars references.
Oh yeah, it was like a long thing in his movies. He said something like it was an hour and a half or something just doing that.
Yeah.
You guys are awesome.
Right, that is thrash.
Oh no. Oh, my favorite little droid.
See, today there would be a black series of battle damage R2.
Yeah,
that would be pretty cool.
That
but
never.
They have a schmutzy version. There was a schmutzy version from Empire.
I thought you said swimsuit version for a second.
Swimsuit version of R2. Well, there's a lot of fan art. That's entirely possible. That's out there.
Yeah, very true. Look at that.
R2 in the Hut Slayer outfit.
Yeah. Well, here we've got Luke in his Cobra Kai outfit.
Yeah. He just got off a motorcycle.
Yeah, I was like, okay,
is that Billy Zabka?
Or is it Johnny Lawrence?
Yeah, I was supposed to say, is that Billy Zabka?
Mm-hmm. Han looks like he's got a tie on almost. Having that button just seems different.
Well, he's got a dress shirt with a sweater and a sports coat over it. He's trying to look typical casual.
Galactic casual.
So is that I don't know. That looks like a different shirt. One of them looks like his original looks like a tab collar most of the time, and that one actually has like a collar, but it's tucked under the vest.
Yeah, I get different vibes from different shots of how his wardrobe is, or different. I think they altered it from movie to movie a bit. Although the vest is pretty, set.
Well, there are, if you go ahead and look at like I think the Rebel Legion CRLs or whatever is there are specifically different pockets for New Hope and Empire, and
Right. Oh yeah, definitely. Where's Chewie's? That's why he's yelling. He's like, "Where's mine?"
There's my medal.
They're all, "Ha ha, Chewie, you're so stupid."
Well, there we
Woo!
are. Just finished
Yeah.
the movie. So much fun. It's always great time. It's always when we watch these movies, and our banter gets even better every time a new property comes out. We start to question everything else that we watch, but it's great. Before we close out tonight, don't forget to order your baseball jerseys. They're on sale until the end of June. Also on Monday night, don't forget we got Vanessa Marshall on Rebels Revisited. But Dave,
Yes.
anything else up on the VCN that they should be looking at?
Well, like I said, if you want to prepare for Vanessa Marshall, is our Mother's Day special is airing this weekend on the Unifying Force. And if you want to know even more than that, there's a year worth of back episodes of Rebels Revisited where we talk about, Space Mom and the family and all of the Rebels, the Ghost crew. So check some of that out. Get prepared. Get excited for Vanessa. I want to watch this one. This is going to be a great show.
I can't wait for that. If you can come,
and then of course you can get excited if you're in the local, Eastern US or Central US. Vanessa will be at ICCC Labor Day weekend, just outside of Nashville, Tennessee. Tickets still on sale. Not affiliated, but if y'all wanted to send me some freebies.
You're going with the skipper?
Absolutely.
Absolutely.
We're gonna road trip up there to Lebanon, Tennessee.
Very nice. Say hi to Gaddafi.
And you just showed your age right there.
I totally did. I ran console right there. Anyway, thank you very much for joining us tonight. Once again, it's great. Next week we're going to watch Empire Strikes Back. But before we go out, Jeff, want to close out with anything?
Good to go. It was a great episode. Probably my favorite of the three. Although Empire is high up there too. Oop, there's Phil Tippett. A lot of amazing stuff, groundbreaking things in this movie and the ones that they made after. And you had to savor the time in between a solid 3 years from movie to movie. None of this year and a half, 2 years, whatever they do nowadays. So
well, I mean, they didn't have the concept or the thing, or they didn't know that this was going to go that, today George would have filmed Empire and Jedi at the same time.
Yeah. True. But literally there was still 3 years between each movie, even though they, could have done 2 and 3 together. I think that he talked about considering that or something at one point, but I don't know. Anyways, it makes me want to say, may the Force be with you.
Absolutely. Dave, anything from you?
I love this movie. It's great. Again, not my favorite. Jedi right there, my favorite. I think I acknowledge that Empire is the best. Jedi is my favorite, but I will watch this anytime you put it in front of me. It is infinitely rewatchable.
It's amazing that every time we see it going up on like TBS or anything of that nature, and we got 30 versions of it and on D Plus, and we'll still stop what we're doing or watching if we see a Star Wars movie put over.
Absolutely.
It shows the power of our fandom,
Yeah, if you flip past it, you're gonna stop. Gotta stop and watch.
Absolutely. So thank you guys for joining us tonight. Very excited. Next week we have Empire, which I'm excited about that. And then obviously the 40th anniversary of Return of the Jedi or Revenge of the Jedi, if you have merch of that nature. But looking forward to seeing you guys there. Also, we're going to have a very special giveaway next week. So we'll advertise that to coincide with Empire Strikes Back. But from Dave, from Jeff, this is Spencer saying, may the Force be with you. We'll see you next week.
May the Force be with you.
May the Force be with you. 1-800